Most preppers believe in community mutual aid. They share tips online, post photos of their setups, trade inventory lists with other prepared families. Smart, generous, and catastrophically stupid. I stopped doing that 3 years ago, not after reading some article. After watching what actually happens when shortages hit. The prepper community isn't a support network. It's an intelligence-gathering operation where everyone's cataloging everyone else's resources. There are 20 food categories in my stockpile that no other prepper knows about. Not my neighbors, not my family, not the guys I shoot with on weekends. These foods stay invisible because they reveal too much. Some prove I'm planning for years, not months. Some mark me as having specialized knowledge. Some are just too valuable to admit possessing. If you've been showing your whole stockpile to other preppers, you're not building community, you're painting a target. Here's what most preppers get catastrophically wrong about community. They believe that when things fall apart, prepared people will band together. Share resources. Pool skills. Watch each other's backs. They post in forums about building mutual aid networks. They invite other preppers over to compare setups. They think they're building relationships. They're actually building target lists. Hurricane Katrina, 2005. Within 72 hours of the levees breaking, home invasions in the greater New Orleans area increased by 340%. But here's the detail nobody talks about. The homes getting hit weren't random. They were the ones neighbors knew had generators, had stockpiles, had prepared. The guy 2 doors down who'd shown everyone his backup power system? First house robbed? The family that had bragged about their 6-month food supply? Cleaned out on day 4. Texas freeze, February 2021. Grid down for a week. Temperatures in the teens. By day 3, Ring doorbell footage shows organized groups moving through neighborhoods. Not random looters. Systematic teams. How did they know which houses to hit? Social media. Forum posts. Conversations at neighborhood barbecues 6 months prior where someone mentioned their preparedness setup. The average American household has 3 days of food. You know this. The average prepper household has 6 months minimum. Many have a year or more. Do the math. When the trucks stop rolling and grocery stores empty in 48 hours, you're not just prepared. You're a 180-day supply depot in someone else's survival plan. Every photo you post showing your stockpile organization. Every forum discussion where you list your inventory. Every time you let another prepper check out your setup, you're creating intelligence. You think you're building community trust. You're building reconnaissance data. Your prepper friends are cataloging your resources. Not maliciously, not consciously, but they're doing it. Human nature. When they see your bulk rice storage, their brain files it away. When they notice your water filtration system, they remember. When their kids are hungry on day 5 and your lights are still on, they'll remember everything. The prepper community isn't mutual aid. It's distributed surveillance. Everyone watching everyone else. Everyone remembering. Everyone calculating who has what and how long they can hold out. Most preppers think the threat comes from unprepared masses. Wrong. The first threat comes from people who know you're prepared. Your neighbors. Your prepper network. The people you trusted enough to show your supplies to. That's why certain foods never appear in my photos. Never get mentioned in forums. Never get shown to visitors. Before I tell you which ones, you need to understand how showing your stockpile turns you into a target. Not all foods are equally dangerous to possess. Some you can show. Some mark you for death. The difference comes down to 3 factors. Learn these, and you can audit any item in your stockpile for target risk. Factor 1. Scarcity value. Some foods disappear in the first 48 hours of any shortage. Others take months. The faster something vanishes, the higher its theft value. Sugar disappears first, then cooking oil, then protein. Basic grains last longer because people panic buy the wrong things. They grab what tastes good, not what keeps them alive longest. Luxury calories versus subsistence calories. If you possess foods that disappeared from stores on day 1, you're holding black market gold. Everyone knows it. Everyone wants it. Everyone remembers you have it. Factor 2. Shelf life signature. Long-term storage foods prove you prepared before the crisis hit. There's a massive difference between having canned goods and having freeze-dried meals. Canned goods? You could have panic bought those last week. Freeze-dried camping meals in bulk? You saw this coming. You planned. You invested. To desperate people, this makes you either an oracle or a hoarder. Neither label helps your survival odds. This factor is why commercial emergency food buckets are dangerous to own visibly. They're branded. They're obvious. They scream, "I knew this was coming, and I spent thousands preparing." That information turns you from neighbor into resource. Factor 3. Knowledge gap indicators. Some foods require specialized knowledge to acquire, store, or process. The average person doesn't know these items exist or why they matter. Possessing them proves you're educated about survival. You're not just a hoarder with a Costco card. You understand food preservation, nutritional science, or traditional skills. This makes you valuable. And valuable people in collapsed scenarios don't get robbed and left alone. They get robbed and kept. Forced labor. Hostage situations. You become the person keeping someone else's community alive while yours starves. These 3 factors combine. A food item might hit all 3 markers, or just one. The more markers it hits, the more dangerous it is to show. White rice in 50-pound bags, low scarcity value, high shelf life signature, low knowledge gap, dangerous but manageable. Curing salts for meat preservation, high scarcity value, high shelf life signature, massive knowledge gap indicator, extremely dangerous. Run every item in your stockpile through this filter. Ask yourself, if someone sees this, what does it tell them about how long I can survive and what I know how to do? Because some foods don't just make you a target, they tell everyone exactly how long you can hold out before you weaken. Imagine someone gets 30 seconds looking at your stockpile. Maybe they're helping you move boxes. Maybe they're using your bathroom and glance into your storage room. Maybe you showed them during a friendly visit. What can they deduce? More than you think. Experienced preppers can calculate your survival timeline just from food diversity. It's threat math. And everyone does it, even unconsciously. Grains and beans alone? You've got 3 to 6 months maximum before serious vitamin deficiencies hit. No vitamin C? You get scurvy in 90 days. No vitamin A? Night blindness in 4 months. This is subsistence survival. You'll be weak and desperate by month 5. Easy target. Low priority raid. They can wait you out. Grains, beans, and freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. Now you've got a year-plus timeline. You also spent serious money. Freeze-dried produce isn't cheap. You planned this. You invested thousands. You're a high-value target, but you're also strong enough to defend yourself for months. Medium priority. They might hit you early or wait for you to use ammunition defending against others. Add specialty proteins, freeze-dried meats, bulk peanut butter, canned fish. Your timeline extends to multiple years, and your nutritional completeness means you stay strong. Very high-value target. You're worth the risk. Priority raid, probably in the first week before you're fortified. Now add fermentation supplies, kombucha cultures, sourdough starter, pickling equipment. Your timeline just became indefinite. You're not living off storage. You're producing food, renewing resources. You don't run out. Ever. This changes everything. You're not a target to rob. You're a target to capture. Your knowledge is more valuable than your stockpile. Skilled prisoners get kept alive in collapsed scenarios. Unskilled ones get expelled from communities, or worse. The prepper who shows 40 types of food versus the prepper who shows 5. Which one do you raid? The one with diversity. Because diversity proves systematic preparation, not panic buying. It proves depth. It proves they'll survive long enough to become a threat to your own survival later. Most preppers can't hold out against determined attackers for more than hours. Your timeline estimate determines whether they hit you now, or wait for you to weaken, or spend your ammunition defending against someone else first. This is why I hide abundance. and show only subsistence. Let them think I've got rice and beans for 3 months. Let them think I'm weak and temporary. Let them prioritize someone else. Your stockpile diversity is intelligence you're giving away for free. Some foods prove you're planning for years. Others prove you're planning forever. Both calculations make you a target, just in different ways. There's a difference between being killed for your food and being enslaved for your knowledge. Most preppers prepare for the first scenario. Almost none prepare for the second. Certain foods mark you as someone with specialized capabilities, not just someone who bought emergency supplies online, someone who understands food systems, production, preservation, multiplication. These skills make you valuable alive, which sounds better than being killed until you understand what valuable alive actually means. Fermentation equipment, mason jars with airlocks, cultures for kombucha, kefir, yogurt, salt crocks for sauerkraut. Anyone who sees these knows you can create food indefinitely. You understand microbiology. You can turn cabbage into preserved vitamins, milk into protein that lasts months, tea into probiotic medicine. This isn't storage knowledge. This is production knowledge. In a grid-down scenario, you're a renewable resource. Sprouting supplies. Seeds for alfalfa, broccoli, mung beans. Sprouting trays. Anyone who sees these knows you can multiply nutrition by 500% in 3 days using only water. 1 pound of seeds becomes 5 pounds of fresh vegetables. This is food multiplication. Alchemy that desperate people will pay anything to access. Curing salts. Prague powder. Sodium nitrite. You can preserve meat without refrigeration. Hunt a deer, cure the meat, feed a family for months. This skill kept humans alive for thousands of years. In collapse, it's worth more than gold, because gold doesn't keep protein from rotting. Medicinal tinctures and herbs. Specific plants for specific ailments. Alcohol-based extracts. Dosage knowledge. You're not just a prepper, you're a medic. When antibiotics are gone and hospitals are closed, you're the person keeping people alive. Extremely high value. Also extremely dangerous to be. The Siege of Leningrad, 1941 to 1944. 872 days. Over 1 million dead from starvation. But skilled workers survived at higher rates. Bakers, butchers, people who could process food, they became forced labor. Kept alive because they were useful. Fed just enough to keep working, never enough to escape. Medieval siege warfare, same pattern. Skilled craftsmen kept inside the walls as forced labor. When food ran low, unskilled residents got expelled, sent outside walls to beg attackers for mercy or starve in no man's land. Skills determined who lived, who worked, who got expelled. You think you're preparing to be independent. You're actually preparing to be valuable livestock. The foods that prove you have production skills mark you for a different kind of targeting. Not a quick raid, a long capture. Some items on my hidden list mark me as someone who can restart food systems. Those stay invisible, because I'd rather be robbed than enslaved. At least robbery ends. You understand the framework. You understand the threat vectors. Here are the 20 food categories I will never show another prepper. Some for scarcity value, some for timeline reveals, some because they mark me as too useful to kill quickly. Number 1. Honey never spoils. Pure sugar, luxury calorie that people crave when everything tastes like survival rations. Black market value in every collapsed economy in history. Show people your generic white sugar in paper bags. Hide your honey. Every jar is a target. Number 2. Peanut butter. Protein plus fat plus shelf life equals triple threat. Disappears in the first 48 hours of every shortage. Caloric density champion. 2 tablespoons equals 200 calories of complete nutrition. Show dried beans, hide nut butters. Plural. Because if you have peanut butter, you probably have almond butter too. Number 3. Freeze-dried meats. Proves multi-year planning and serious financial investment. Mountain House beef costs $30 per pouch. Someone with 50 pouches spent $1,500 on meat alone. That's not panic preparation. That's systematic wealth conversion into survival assets. Show canned Spam. Hide freeze-dried protein. Number 4. Coffee. Psychological dependency meets trade value meets scarcity. People will kill for coffee after 2 weeks without it. Not exaggerating. Caffeine withdrawal is brutal. Coffee becomes currency. Show tea bags. Hide coffee beans. Especially hide good coffee. Number 5. Alcohol. Drinkable alcohol, not rubbing alcohol. Medicine, trade currency, social bonding, food preservation, disinfectant. Multi-purpose items are high-value targets. A case of vodka is worth more than gold in month 3 of collapse. Show rubbing alcohol for medical use. Hide your whiskey. Number 6. Chocolate. Luxury calorie with no substitute. Pure comfort food. People kill for comfort when everything else is survival mode. 1 chocolate bar in month 2 of collapse is worth a week of rice. Show nothing. Hide chocolate. All of it. Number 7. Olive oil. Fat plus preservation plus cooking plus light source. You can burn olive oil in lamps. 1 bottle serves 4 purposes. Show cheap vegetable oil. Hide your olive oil. Especially hide bulk olive oil. Number 8. Powdered milk. Complete protein. 20-year shelf life. Childhood comfort. Baking ingredient. Coffee additive. Shows you planned for years. Show small cans of evaporated milk. Hide bulk powder. Number 9. Nuts in bulk. Raw almonds, walnuts, cashews. Highest caloric density of any storage food. Fat and protein. Portable. Doesn't require cooking. A 5-gallon bucket of almonds is 75,000 calories of perfect nutrition. Show sunflower seeds. Hide tree nuts. Number 10. White rice in bulk. A 50-pound bag says 6 months. A 500-pound supply says decades. Reveals your timeline completely. Show the 50-pound bag. Hide the other 450 pounds somewhere else. Different location entirely. Those are the first 10. Foods that vanish fast and mark you as priority target. The next 10 are worse. They prove specialized knowledge. Numbers 11 through 20. The knowledge markers. The foods that prove you're educated, not just stocked. 11. Sprouting seeds. Alfalfa, broccoli, radish, mung beans. Food multiplication knowledge. 1 pound becomes 5 pounds of nutrition in 3 days. 12. Baking yeast and sourdough starter. Bread production independence. You don't need stores. You make your own leavening. Multi-year timeline indicator. 13. Curing salts. Prague powder, sodium nitrite, sodium nitrate. Meat preservation chemistry. You can hunt once and eat for months. Knowledge gap massive. 14. Whole grains. Wheat berries, whole oats, barley. Requires grain mill. Proves equipment depth most preppers lack. 50-year shelf life if stored correctly. 15. Fermentation cultures. Kombucha scabies, kefir grains, yogurt cultures. Probiotic production knowledge, medicine creation, indefinite timeline capability. 16. Medicinal herbs in bulk. Specific plants for specific ailments. Echinacea, elderberry, chamomile. Not grocery store tea. Actual medicine. Processing knowledge required. 17. Heirloom seeds. Diverse varieties, large quantities. Not this year's garden, multi-year agricultural plan, seed-saving knowledge, complete food system restart capability. 18. Vinegar in bulk. 5-gallon containers of white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, preservation workhorse, pickling, cleaning, medicine, chemistry knowledge. 19. Activated charcoal, food grade. Advanced water purification knowledge beyond basic filters. Chemical contamination response, poisoning treatment, medical knowledge. 20. Salt in bulk. Not a 10-pound bag. 100+ pounds. Multiple 50-pound bags. Preservation, nutrition, trade currency. Proves systematic long-term thinking. 20 foods. 20 ways you've been marking yourself for targeting. If you've posted photos of any of these online, you're cataloged. If you've shown them to other preppers face-to-face, they remember. Everyone. Your prepper friend who visited last month and saw your fermentation setup? He remembers. His wife remembers. His kids will remember when they're hungry. They'll remember your address, your layout, your defenses, everything. Time to fix this. Before the window closes, you can't undo what you've shown, but you can minimize future damage. 3-part action framework. Start today. Action 1. Audit your visibility. Go through your social media history. Delete every post showing stockpiles. Yes, screenshots exist. Yes, people saved them. But limit the spread. Stop making it easy. Review every conversation you've had with other preppers. Who knows what? Make a mental map. This is your threat assessment. Action 2. Create a decoy stockpile. Visible supplies in your garage or basement. 50-pound bags of rice, canned vegetables, basic water storage, boring, expected. Exactly what someone panic buying at Costco would have. This is what people see when they visit. This is what gets raided first. Your actual supplies? Different location. Buried. Hidden room. Somewhere they won't think to look after they find the decoy. Physical separation saves lives. Action 3. Strategic lying protocol. When preppers ask what you have, your answer is always, same as everyone, rice and beans mostly, trying to get to 3 months. When they show you their stockpiles, memorize everything. Never reciprocate. When they ask detailed questions, deflect. Claim you're new to prepping. Claim you're on a budget. Claim whatever makes you sound less prepared than you are. Never correct someone's bad prepping advice. Their failures are not your problem. The gray man stockpile principle. Show enough to not be suspicious. Someone with 0 supplies is a desperate target who will join raiding parties, but don't show so much that you become a priority target. Goldilocks zone. Appear modestly prepared, but not worth the risk. If someone pushes for details about your setup, that's reconnaissance, not friendship. Treat it accordingly. Information is a weapon they'll use against you when resources get scarce. Trust is a luxury resource. It works when there's enough for everyone. Collapses the second there isn't. Your prepper community dissolves the moment the trucks stop rolling. Plan accordingly. 3 final truths about stockpile security. No sugarcoating, no hopeful endings. Truth 1. Community is a luxury that exists only in abundance. Works great when everyone has enough. Collapses instantly when they don't. Your prepper friends who talk about mutual aid, they're building relationships based on future resource extraction. You are their backup plan. Their children's survival depends on remembering what you have. They will remember. Evolution optimized humans for resource acquisition under stress. Trust gets rebuilt after survival is secured, not before. Truth 2. Visible preparation creates enemies before crisis hits. The neighbor who sees your stockpile today files it away. Unconscious inventory. When their family is hungry on day 5 and your lights are still on, that memory activates. You become the first stop on their survival route. Not because they're evil, because they're human. Being known as prepared means being known as a target. There is no middle ground. Truth 3. These 20 foods are just the obvious markers. Real operational security means total information blackout. Assume everything you own is intelligence someone will use when desperation hits. The prepper who survives longest isn't the most prepared. It's the most invisible, the one nobody knows about until after the crisis passes. 4 directives. Execute immediately. 1. Audit today. What have you exposed? To whom? When? Write nothing down. 2. Relocate now. Physical separation of visible versus hidden supplies. Different buildings, different properties. Buried, concealed. 3. Shut up permanently. No more forum posts. No more comparisons. No more photos. No more friendly stockpile tours. 4. Trust no one who asks detailed questions. Reconnaissance isn't always obvious. 20 foods, 3 action steps, 1 rule. The prepper who survives isn't the most prepared. It's the most invisible. Everyone else is just a distribution center waiting to be liberated by someone with fewer morals and more ammunition.